Today you're going to be learning about proportional and non-proportional relationships. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify which relationships would be considered proportional and which relationships would be considered non-proportional. Before we start, a proportional relationship is when two or more quantities will have the same unit rate. A non-proportional relationship is when two or more quantities will not have the same unit rate. And then your equivalent ratios are ratios that have the same values, meaning they are equal to each other when they're simplified. For example 1, if Anna walks 6 miles per day, is the number of miles she walks proportional to the number of days she walks? Explain. In order to solve these problems, we're going to make a chart and we're going to fill it in to see how many miles she would walk for each number of days. So on day 1, Anna is going to walk 6 miles. And it does say that she walks 6 miles per day. So if she was to walk 2 days, she will now walk 12 miles. If she was to walk for 3 days, now she would have walked 18 miles. If she was to walk for 4 days, she would now be at 24 miles. So in order to tell whether this is proportional or non-proportional, we need to take each rate and find the unit rate. So 6/1 is our unit rate. The next rate we have is a 12/2. If we simplify that, we end up getting a 6/1. Our next rate would be 18/3. If we divide 18 by 3, you get 6/1. And our last rate is 24/4. If you were to divide 24 by 4, you would once again get 6/1. So the answer to this problem would be this is a proportional relationship. The reason why it is a proportional relationship is because all of your rates simplify to 6/1. So it's 6 miles every day. That is a proportional relationship. All right, example 2. All right, I see you back there. Remember, you need to listen, watch, pause the video, and then write your notes. Don't let me catch you again. All right, example 2. The cleaning service charges $45 for the first hour and 30 minutes for each additional hour. Is the fee proportional to the number of hours worked? Make a table of values to explain your reasoning. Okay, so it does say that it is $45 for the first hour. So I'm going to put a 45 right here. Hours worked is a 1. However, it's $30 for each additional hour. So if this person was to work for 2 hours, you need to add 30 onto 45. 45 plus 30 gets you 75. For 3 hours, we need to add another 30 because it's an additional hour. You now have $105. For hour 4, you need to add 30 again, and that would get you $135. All right, same as before, we need to find the unit rates. So far, we already know we have a unit rate of 45/1. If we were to take the rate of $75 over 2 hours, that would simplify to $37.50 in 1 hour, which is not equal to 45/1. At this point, you would actually be able to stop because you have 2 rates that are not equal. Once you have 2 rates that are not equal, That is now a non-proportional relationship. If 75 over 2 did simplify to 45 over 1, you would keep going. But because we've already found out that they are not equal, you are now able to stop. The reason why is because 45 over 1 does not equal 3750 over 1. They are not equal. All right, example 3. A recipe for jelly frosting calls for 1/3 a cup of jelly and 1 egg white. Is the number of egg whites proportional to the cups of jelly used? Make a table of values and explain your reasoning. All right, so it's 1/3 a cup for 1 egg white. If we were to use 2 egg whites, you're going to use 2/3 a cup. If you were to use 3 egg whites, you would now use 1 cup because it would be 3 over 3, which equals 1. If you were to use 4 egg whites, you are now using 1 1/3 cups. Now you would have to look for the unit rate. The unit rate should be 1/3 over 1 for it to be proportional. So if I was to take 2/3 over 2, 2/3 divided by 2 gives you 1/3 over 1. 3/3 over 3. If I was to divide 3/3 by 3, I would get 1/3 over 3. And then the last one, if I had 1 1/3, or I can even say 4/3, it's the same thing, over 4, you're now once again going to get 1/3 over 1. So this relationship is proportional. The reason why it is proportional is because all of the rates simplify to a common unit rate of 1/3 over 1. For example 4, they're going to give us 2 different situations, and we need to find which situation is going to be the proportional relationship. So if we look at the charts, we have Emilio who types 20 words in 30 seconds. We're going to go ahead and start finding the unit rate. So if we have 20 over 30, and we were to simplify, we'd divide by 10, and that gets you 2/3. If you were to take 40 over 60, once again, you're going to divide by 10. You get 4 over 6. You can divide by 2, and you could get 2/3. So far, we're good. We need one more. The last one is 60 over 90. Divide by 10, you get 6 over 9. Now you can divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So this would be a proportional relationship because all of their rates simplify to 2/3. I'm going to check the second part just to make sure this isn't a trick question. If I have, whoops, if I have 25 over 30, and I have to find the unit rate, I'm going to divide by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 30 divided by 5 is 6. So I should get a unit rate of 5/6. 60 over 60 is going to equal 1, or 1 over 1. 5/6 does not equal 1 over 1. Therefore, Walter's words to seconds is non-proportional because they do not have the same unit rate. So the person with the proportional relationship would be Emilio, and the reason why is because all of his rates simplify to 2/3. All right, here's your got it. You have 2 of them. Please read them carefully. Draw out your table. pause the video, and when you're ready, go ahead and press play. All right, by this time you guys should be ready, so I'm going to go ahead and go through the problems with you. So number 1, the marina rents boats for $25 per hour. In addition to the rental fee, there's a $12 charge for fuel. Is the number of hours you can rent the boat proportional to the total cost? Remember, first thing I told you to do was you needed a chart. So we're going to go ahead and make our table. All right, here's money, here's hours. So for the first hour, it's $25 plus the $12 fuel charge. So 25 plus 12 gets you $37 for the first hour. Second hour, $25 per hour, so that's 25 and 25. That gives you $50. That fuel charge is a one-time fee, so it's 50 plus 12, and that gives you 62. For hour 3, you need to do $25 times 3. That gets you 75. Add 12. You're now at 87. We'll do one more just to see. All right, your fourth hour. 25 times 4 is 100, plus that 12 is 112. All right, now we need to find unit rates. We already have a unit rate of $37 for 1 hour. If we were to look at our next rate, which is 62 over 2, if you divide by 2, you get $31 for 1 hour. We can stop there. You should already see that 37 over 1 does not equal 31 over 1. Therefore, this is non-proportional. The reason why it's non-proportional is because they do not have the same unit rate. All right, let's see if my pen's willing to work this time. So which situation represents a proportional relationship between hours worked and amount earned for Matt and Jane? Explain. So all we need to do is find unit rates. Each of them both have the same unit rate, which is 12 over 1. So if we look at Matt's earnings, the next ratio he has is 20 over 2. Yay, the pen worked. All right, we're going to divide it by 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10 over 1. You guys all know 12 over 1 is not equal to 10 over 1. Therefore, it's non-proportional. Let's take a look at Jane. Jane's second rate is 24 over 2. 24 divided by 2 is 12 over 1. You guys should already know 36 divided by 3 is also going to be 12 over 1. Therefore, Jane's earnings per hour is proportional because they all have the same unit rate of $12 for every hour. All right, now you guys need to think about what makes two quantities proportional. Think about everything I talked about in the video, look back at examples, and come up with an answer to explain how you would know if two quantities are considered proportional.